welcome back to my show. I hope you're well. Let's get to the news. Dallas Federal Reserve President Robert Kaplan did a sit down with Nikkei Asia where he addressed the U.S. economy, growth-wise, inflation, and excess risk that's being taken by the commercial banks and the Feds. And when he was asked about the growth in the economy, he said we are right now at 6.5% growth due to the 1.9 trillion stimulus COVID package. And he expects a surge in prices by the end of the year. And he also addressed inflation, where the interviewer told him that, do you predict inflation to be at 2.4%? And the Fed president predicted that inflation would be between 2.25% to 2.5%. He also predicted unemployment to be at 4%. Right now we're at 10%. Pre-COVID, during Trump's administration, we were at around 4%. But all these sectors were almost annihilated by the COVID closure. That includes the wood industry, the steel, the textile mills, transportation equipment, chemical products, what else? Computer and electronic software or electric products, food and beverage. Did I miss any? No, I think I didn't. So those industries were affected, but the industries that were not affected were the Walmarts and the Amazons. So they're straight. So we have no need to worry about them, right? So due to those closures of those industries across the board, there was a needed manufacturing in those companies. They were in dire need of that. And the shutdown put their businesses almost, threw them off a cliff, you could say. So where the industries now are suffering, they have massive shortages in those industries, while demand goes up after COVID economy is reopening. And first quarter and the unemployment, you want to know, and the first quarter was at less than 4%. In the second and third quarter, it went up to 15%, and now we are at 10%. And the Fed President Robert Kaplan predicts that we're going to be at 4%. We'll have to wait and see if that does in fact happen. So with that, going back to inflation, after the gold standard was taken out or removed in 1971, inflation never went below 2%. Now, I read an article by Zero Hedge where the author Tyler Durden said, appropriately, today's chart of the day shows average inflation for the 87 economies that Deutsche Bank has data on going back to 1971, when the U.S. and its vast majority of the rest of the world cut ties to gold. He says, what is remarkable is that no economy has managed to keep average annual inflations below 2% since Switzerland with 2.1%, Germany 2.5%, and the U.S. is now at 3.8% inflation. Interesting, right? I think so. So going back to the massive shortages, you're feeling the heat at the gas pumps, in the grocery markets. Check out the meat. I mean, that's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy high for that meat and fruits and vegetables. I mean, ridiculous. A bell pepper is like almost $2. What's that all about? The only thing that's not going up is probably bananas at 59 cents a pound or 60 cents in your neck of the woods. That's the only thing that I see that has stayed pretty much steady there. But Business Insider heading March 20th says, from houses to cars and bikes, everything is getting more expensive as supply chain issues cripple the economic reopening. Where, like I said, you're feeling it in the markets, the grocery pumps, even in homes. People are willing to shell out almost 30% of the market value for the homes they are purchasing. Many people are putting a halt on their new home contracts because of the exploding rate or prices that are rising for wood and other building materials. That is just ridiculous. And with demands continuing to skyrocket, we have a shortage in workers, massive resources, because after the economy reopened, you'll notice that there are less workers, or you could say workers missing in action, because there has to be few working in a certain area to follow the COVID safety protocol, 6 feet included. And so that makes it difficult to have more of supply, right, to accommodate those increasing in consumer demand, right? So that's an issue. So let's see how the market fares there. Well, the market, the 10-year yield is up at 1.75%, where gold took a hit. I believe it's $50 to $68.90, if I'm correct. I mean, $16.83. Zerahedge said that based on Bloomberg report that this is the lowest gold has been since April 2020. Wow. Okay. But Bitcoin stayed steady. It's close to 59,000. It must be fashionable, hot in the market where a lot of people are, it's become a celebrity status now. It's elevated. Bitcoin's like the most fashionable thing. It's what everybody wants to get. What did I hear about Bitcoin just recently? That they're giving, I believe in Canada, they're giving $3,000 in Bitcoin as mortgages for people who want to buy homes, to incentivize them to buy them. Interesting. Okay. So Ethereum was close to 1900. The dollar spiked up. So you'll notice that as a treasury, the 10-year treasury has an inverse correlation to gold. So the US 10-year treasury went up while gold shot down. Silver was back in the back seat. It dove to $24. This is the lowest seen since December 2020. Now, do I have anything else in the news? Oh, yes, the Federal Reserve President, he also went into detail how he expressed concern for what we talked about yesterday, excessive risks that commercial banks and feds are taking, where he said, is this the headline? What he talked about, yeah, okay. Zerahedge headline, stocks sink as Fed's Kaplan admits, quote, challenges due to excess risk-taking, where he said, quote, I'm concerned about excess risk-taking, and if that excess risk-taking goes too far, whether it creates excesses and imbalances, that could ultimately create challenges. So that's all the news I have for you guys. Like we said, we're still looking